What is this place? How did I get here? Could this, what? How am I here?
Yep, this is definitely Inkopolis Square.
Pearl, what are you doing here? Marina wants to interview me? You know I'm like a nobody, right? Oh, so how'd you hear about that? That happened in LA. We are in Inkopolis Square. How did you hear about my Switch getting stolen? Yeah, no. I still love Splatoon, don't get me wrong. But yeah, sure, I'll do the interview. Why not? That's a good question, Marina. No, I did not always love Splatoon as much as I do now. I honestly didn't even play the original all that much. The Wii U was a console that I really moved on from very, very quickly. I was never a fan of the controller. The gamepad was not something I liked holding in my hands. I never got a Pro controller back then. So no, I never really got to spend as much time with it. But once Splatoon 2, your game, rolled around on Switch, I knew that I had to dive in. It took me a while to get used to the gyro, and honestly, it took me even longer to get into the single player campaign. But when I did play it, I absolutely loved it, and I'm super bummed because I was so close to finishing it. I had maybe the last boss to go and maybe like one level before that, but my Switch got stolen in LA, and along with that, all my progress from online and all of that. But you already know that. Most of you already know that. But yes, I was not always a fan of Splatoon. Splatoon 2, I am now one of the biggest fans I know. I'm really into the game. It's such a complete package with Salmon Run, multiplayer, single player, Splatfest, event-based gaming on Switch. It's really forward thinking in a lot of ways, and I absolutely love it. So yeah, there you go. That's kind of my history with Splatoon there a little bit. Yeah, you know what? I forget that you weren't in the game from the beginning. I already said that I didn't play the original Splatoon a lot, and Splatoon 2 was kind of where I dove into the franchise for the first time. But the origins of Splatoon, before even Splatoon 1, really interesting to me. We have tofu. That was the way that this started off. When Nintendo was prototyping what eventually would become Splatoon 2, there was just like a giant brick, like a piece of tofu really it looked like, and it would go around like spraying ink, and they didn't really have any characters. All they had was a concept of splatting ink all over the area, and tofu was basically where Splatoon came from. For me, this is one of the most interesting things, right? Because obviously we're not game developers and we never know just how these games come to be. And to see that it came from what you're seeing now to what Splatoon 2 is today is absolutely amazing. I think we kind of forget the level of care, detailed thought, and just like pure imagination that goes into making these games. To go from a very dull looking world with just like a brick of tofu, just like throwing things all over the place, to having the inklings, to having all the lore surrounding the game now, and just all this like huge vibrancy, the character, the color in the world. It's all super cool. Again, to see that it is going from like a tofu presentation that was kind of a proof of concept, saying like, hey, this could like kind of be weird, and you know, it's a shooter, right? Nintendo doesn't traditionally do shooters, and when they went into that genre for the first time, they wanted to do it differently, and it really seems like they got it. So yes, you weren't in the first game, but I'm really glad you're in the second game. And yeah, tofu was kind of how Splatoon all got started. I know a lot of people don't know that. I know some do, but hey, let me know in the comments if you guys knew that, you know, Splatoon wouldn't be here if it wasn't for this like tofu prototype that they talked about. It's absolutely insane. That's another really good point that I forget, and I know a lot of other people forget about Splatoon 2. New IP and Nintendo don't always go hand in hand. Yes, Splatoon, yes, ARMS, but besides that, they kind of just stick with what they have. They have one of the biggest stables of characters in gaming. They have a lot of beloved mascots. A lot. But something new happened with Splatoon, where they had something new, something innovative, something they've never done before, and it worked. Again, ARMS was also new and it worked to varying degrees of success, but Splatoon really has gone and become one of the best sellers on Switch. That's like super crazy because there is no Mario, there is no other characters from the Nintendo world to kind of propel this to be able to sell as much as it has. Everything that Splatoon has, it gained on its own because of the pure fun of the gameplay and the support that they have for the games themselves. All the Splatfest, event-based gaming is like really cool. But that's one thing that Splatoon has done that Nintendo really hadn't done in a long time. Of course, they do have, other games that they publish and that they support, but to have a brand new IP come out and sell millions and millions and millions of units, that is not something Nintendo is super known for. And, Splatoon 2 has proven that going forward, Splatoon is going to be a big franchise for them. I'm sure we're going to see other entries and we might even see spin-offs. That's one thing that has me very excited. I want to see a spin-off and what crazy stuff they can do with maybe a little bit of mixing up of genres and maybe mixing up of worlds. We know that the Inklings are in Smash. We know that they are now in Mario Kart and stuff like that. But going forward, brand new characters. The Inklings are now almost iconic. Not as iconic as Mario and Link, obviously, but give it some time. Maybe we will get there. Again, huge shout out and kudos to Nintendo for being able to cultivate this. This isn't something that happens every day for them, and they've done a tremendous job with it. And I don't blame Nintendo because they are super successful with what they do. They throw Mario on the title or on the box art, that game is gonna sell some units. They throw Zelda or Link, the name on a box art, they make a game out of that, it's gonna sell some units. ARMS proved that trying new things doesn't always work out and it's risky, right? But luckily, Splatoon seems to have struck a chord. It is huge in Japan, and there are these tournaments that are happening. There's like one going on right now for like packs and stuff like that. But yeah, the chord got struck, the competitive nature of it, the really good gameplay, it all mixed in perfectly. And seeing Nintendo have new characters to play with going forward is super awesome. I think that's part of what has made Splatoon as successful as it is. Nintendo keeps on pushing. And with Smash, they are doing something sort of similar with those weekly like spirit events, but it's not honestly anywhere near as exciting as the Splatfest. And look, one thing about Splatoon that I really hope that they change in the third one, if you happen to be there, is, give us the ability to play everything no matter what, right? Don't just have like a couple maps in rotation. Don't just have Salmon Run just like closed off in certain areas. But I also wonder if that's part of what keeps people coming back. Again, Splatfests are amazing. They've had a lot for Splatoon 2. I haven't participated in all of them, unfortunately, because again, my copy of Splatoon got stolen and all of that. But now that I have the game back, the last Splatfest happened, I played, it's such a good time and it keeps people coming back. Not only that, there are balance updates, new weapons constantly. Event-based gaming is huge right now in the industry. Anthem, Division 2, any number of very popular games. Fortnite, the biggest game out there, I guess. Apex Legends even just started Season 1 the other day. Stuff like that, they continue to make the games change. They introduce new things to keep players hooked. To keep players hooked on whatever the game happens to be. And although Nintendo's not the most forward thinking when it comes to online, they did a really good job with Splatoon. And hopefully this leads to Nintendo learning and sort of bringing this over to other franchises. Again, we see it a little bit in Smash. I'm very excited for this big April update that's supposed to happen, but things like this are something that Nintendo needs to improve on. And honestly, I think Splatoon has been the catalyst for that. It's kind of insane to think that a game with Squid Kids would be Nintendo's most like future-facing and forward-facing game that they have, period. Now that's a great question. Look, the Switch is supposed to be going on for a number of years more, right? Splatoon 2 was a little bit earlier in the life cycle. That means that, hypothetically, Splatoon 3 will happen on Nintendo Switch at some point, and that is honestly probably the thing I'm most excited for, right? Yeah, we'll probably get another Mario game, we're gonna get another Zelda game, but Splatoon 3, man, I don't know what about Splatoon 2 really has struck a chord with me the way it has, but I am super on board. They continue to improve with every iteration. Yes, there's only been 2 iterations, but I can't wait to see what they do with the single player content. The Octo expansion did so much creative stuff that it honestly trumped whatever happened with Splatoon 2, and what they're gonna do next has me even more excited. There are a few fixes I would like to see. Look, I love Marina, Pearl, love you guys, yes, but I don't want to have to sit there and listen to all the rotations and stuff like every time I boot up the game. There needs to be an option to make that a little bit quicker. There needs to be more maps available at any given time, maybe a little bit more traditional matchmaking. The new modes that were introduced were really fun, so new modes, Salmon Run maybe being expanded. There is a lot they can do with Splatoon 3, and they have a lot to build on. They have all the pieces set, and they honestly are gonna probably knock it out of the park with Splatoon 3. Breath of the Wild 2 might be a thing at some point, right? We might get another 3D Mario of some kind. There is a lot coming this year, but the prospect of Splatoon 3 is gonna be, for me, one of the things that I'm looking forward to the most in the Switch's life cycle. We probably won't get it to the end of the Switch's life cycle, honestly, but hey, I'm gonna be here waiting, and I'm very excited to see what is coming in the future. And thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. It's a little bit different, hopefully a little bit fun. I know it's a little kooky, but hey, it is what it is. Thank you for the support. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Follow us on Twitter for giveaways and other shenanigans, and that is pretty much it. For myself, Marina, Pearl, the Splatoon world, I'm gonna get back home because I'm still in Inkopolis Square right now. So I'm out of here. Thank you guys. You guys are super appreciated. SwitchForce out.